Yes, welcome back to Fantastic Friday right here on News Talk 93 FM. I'm yours truly, Mr. Fresh Concepts, representing for the team. Big up to Kimmie Kim, big up to DJ MV Stone, big up to Boss Lady Bree, big up to Adenike. Large up on the 7 people. Hope everybody is doing great and having a great week. People, it's Friday, people. Want to say congrats to all our winners from our previous giveaway trivia segment. Want to say big up to the big winner Cecilia, won herself $300 credit and a movie pass for 2 to Carib 5. Big up to Digi Youth, won himself $100 credit, and to Sweet, also another winner of $100 credit. People will just give away credit and we give away movie passes and we give away more and more. All right, so in our discussion segment for today, we're going to be looking at the controversial topic that's been taking the media by storm since the school term has begun. Are the dress codes in our schools too strict? What are your views? Tell me what you think. We got some comments that came in on our TikTok live session. Cecilia says, yes, it's too strict, especially the hair. I guess she's talking about the edges situation. I'm going to get into that in a few. DigiYouth says, I think that rules are rules, and students should follow the rules of the schools. That is a very catchy one there, DigiYouth. Let me see here. Sweet says, no, it's not looking good at all for going to school. Save that for when you're going out. Yeah, I agree. Some of the dress code that you see the kids wearing, some of the dress styles that they are wearing are hairstyles as well that you see these kids are wearing. It's going out session. So these are some of the views that we've been getting so far. And we're going to dive into the topic right now as we look at what we think about the dress codes in our schools. Are they too strict? Or are they a perfect fit? All right, people, let's go. So as we know, dress codes and grooming policies in schools have been pretty much a point of a heated battle right now. Recently, multiple schools have adopted stricter rules banning practices like wearing edges, those baby hairstyle, at the edge of the hairline, as well as restricting tight pants, certain belt buckles, hair dye, and even enforcing uniform lengths. Yeah, so that's been the trend recently. I mean, it's pretty much been a case for quite some time, but more schools have been adopting these dress code and guidelines. So banning practices like wearing edges, the baby hair, restricting tight pants, belt buckles must be, fitting for the school, hair dye, and even enforcing uniform lengths. Now, these developments have since sparked debate from both supporting parents and parents who are opposing the move. And it's raising fundamental questions such as, are these rules reasonable? So let's go over that again. Big up to Juman Lodge checking in on the Instagram Live. Welcome back. Let me see here. So yes, we're asking the question, what is the purpose of dress codes? Whom do they serve? And at what cost? Are these rules reasonable discipline, or are they an overreach that stifles self-expression and disproportionately burdens some students? All right, so we're going to look into that in a few, but let me go through some of the dress code requirements that we've seen since the school term has begun. So one of the top things, is already uniform requirement, proper attire. So, wearing this full school uniform at all times. So you don't miss a tie, you don't miss off your belt. You don't miss off if you're supposed to be wearing a crest or a badge. You ought to have that whether you are heading into school or from school. You should be wearing your full uniform. Shirts, blouses must be correctly tucked in and must be of the correct style, color, and not altered. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be form fitting. So those Coca-Cola buckle kind of uniform, that's not what the school desires. All right, so that's usually one of the top things too. Footwear, they ask you as well. They say shoes must be solid color, often black or dark brown, clean, properly laced. The strips already. No slippers, no flip-flops, no slides, no house slippers, all of that stuff. It should be the traditional, classic, casual footwear. All right. Belts, buttons, and uniform accessories should be the correct style and pattern. Buttons must be present and properly fastened. Uniform should not be overly tight or modified. Yes. So these are some of the dress codes that we've been seeing being implemented in the schools. Hair and grooming. Hair must be clean, neatly groomed. Unnatural colors, bleaching, dyeing are often prohibited. So they're not allowed in most cases. Extensions, braids, or hair additions other than the normal hair are often regulated. There's a maximum length that's usually suggested. There usually also your natural hair color should be matching as well. All right. So these are some of the dress code regulations that we've seen. When it comes to the prohibition of extreme distracting styles. So, so no extreme hairstyles, eyebrow designs, lines, or patterns cut into the hair, no tight pants, no hairstyle that are seen as too flashy. Length of the skirts as well. They often say skirts or tunics should have a minimum required length, so you must not, pass a certain length, often usually below the knee. Dress and skirt should not be tight, should be properly hanging and not to reveal undergarments. Skirts and blouses, sleeves should be whether short or long, no spaghetti straps or sleeveless shirts in many schools, and the regular collar, proper buttons, etc., depending on your school. All right. Also, there is usually guidelines for general cleanliness and neatness. Clothing must be clean and neat, not torn or spoiled or in disrepair, and uniform must be properly worn. Example, tucked in, belts are done up, and pants should be at the waist. Yeah, that's for most schools, as I say. There are also prohibition of unauthorized accessories and decorations. So most schools have regulations against decorative jewelry. So no flashy accessory often limits persons or students to small studs or knobs with minimal adornment. Non-school badges are also not allowed usually. So the pin, logos, the other part of the uniform should not be displayed unless it's for the school. All right, and the final item that usually comes up when we talk about dress code is the enforcement of these dress code regulations or rules and guidelines. Students may be locked out of the school or denied entrance for violation of these dress codes. All right, so whether you're missing button, wrong belt, hairstyle, etc. Parents might be required to remedy the dress code violations for the child to enter, or usually school handbooks are often handed out prior, laying out these specific disciplinary steps. So whether it's a detention, demerit, or you're asked to stay out of school, these are some of the enforcement or penalties that may follow when students are not abiding by the school's regulated dress code. All right. So to truly understand whether or not these dress code regulations are beneficial to the student, let's look at some points that are in favor of the dress code. Then let's get to some points that are against the dress code. All right, so we begin. Dress codes are usually put in place to maintain order and discipline. That's pretty much it. Dress codes are really just to maintain order and discipline. If there wasn't a school dress code, people come in at any clothes, color, ripped jeans, all these different things. So the dress code is kind of a guideline to keep persons looking orderly and keep them disciplined. Now, persons may argue that strict dress codes help to enforce discipline, which supports learning. Uniformity in appearance, neat uniforms, that's acceptable hairstyles, no overly flamboyant adornments can reduce distractions. Peer competition over fashion as well as seeks to maintain order. Because how the thing go already. One person do a style to the next person go outdo them tomorrow. Different colors. Oh my, that's going to be distracting indeed. Now, parents and school administrators often see these policies as part of instilling values of order, respect, and readiness. For instance, some schools defend the ban on edges, arguing that those styled baby hairs are too much of a fashion statement and are not aligned with the standards of neatness expected on the school campus. All right, so people, we're talking about our dress codes in schools. Are they too strict? Are they just a perfect fit? Right now, we're in the segment looking at reasons for supporting the school's dress codes. And number one on the list is maintaining order and discipline. So, especially when it comes to certain hairstyles, people may argue that it's too much of a fashion statement and it's going to be distracting. I have seen even videos on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram with students brushing up their hair into certain styles during class. Like, I mean, if you have a simple hairstyle and it's set already, you won't have to worry about curling back your edges. You know what I'm saying? So I think it does have a very good point in maintaining order and discipline. But let's look at another area where dress codes do prove to be beneficial to the students. It gives them an idea or preparation for future settings. Yes. So persons who are in agreement would often see dress codes as preparation for professional life, where certain grooming or dress standards are expected, which is true. Now, by enforcing a code of neatness, uniformity, appropriate grooming, schools are teaching students how to present themselves in environments that may have strict norms, such as workplaces or formal settings. This is frequently cited justification. So persons are saying, okay, I mean, they're students, let them have them fun. I mean, they need to understand that you're going to be going into the professional world soon. So if you understand what it's like to, follow the rules and guidelines, it's going to be taking place in the workplace as well. And some schools right now are a bit more lenient than the workplaces. And I do understand that some workplaces are lenient as well. But we're better to learn the basis or the foundation of understanding rules and guidelines in terms of discipline and dress codes other than schools. So I think it comes in great here, a great second point being made by the supporters of the dress code regulations, that listen me, in the future, them not go, if they get a certain type of job, them not go walk in anywhere with orange hair, purple hair, green hair, right? So they're gonna have to follow some rules and guidelines in the future. So why not teach them how to do so and allow them to follow these rules? And once again, it's a good idea. Is it affecting their learning process? Let's see. Persons say that the distraction of too many fancy hairstyles, too many different fashion trends when it comes to the different styles that are being worn can be distracting, and that definitely would be impacting their education. So let's look at point number 3, the benefits of having dress codes. Persons say that dress codes allows for equality and minimizing external pressures. Yeah. So what does that mean? Uniforms are often a guideline, and uniforms and rules are often defended as leveling the field, reducing socio-economic differences in clothing, limiting fashion competition, and focusing attention on learning rather than appearance. Exactly. Because if you realize what takes place on like a jeans day, everybody want, oh, me in a name brand jeans, me in a name brand shirt, what shirt you have on. Half of the conversation throughout the day is what you are wearing, what you have on, and what different styles. So even for jeans day, you see the teachers, they do, the schools, they do try to maintain a level playing field for jeans day somewhat, but still students still have, areas where they're not able to follow the rules. They say no ripped jeans, some come in ripped jeans. You know what I'm saying? So even with the option for jeans day, students are looked at who for jeans, wash out, who for jeans, this. So therefore, uniforms kind of level the playing field to say, all right, everybody will be wearing the same standard garments, so they will blend in alike. You don't have to worry about, oh, you can't afford a name brand shirt here if you come show off at school. It's a standard school uniform, so each student will be able to focus on learning rather than focus on what each other are wearing. All right, so 3 strong points for uniforms there. Yeah, and we're gonna go into the arguments against the uniforms in a few, and trust me, there are quite a lot, but we want to get your views. I see a view coming in on WhatsApp. Large up to Adenike. Let me see. Adenike says, no, they are not too strict. People just need to follow the rules, man. All right, so that's a very good one coming in from Adenike there. All right, people, so we're going to go to the break in just about a couple minutes. The question is, are our schools' dress code too strict? So we're going to be looking at the arguments against the strictness of dress codes as it relates to Jamaica. I'm going to start with one of the points that have been, getting to persons out there. So against the dress code, number 1, persons are saying that it's an overreach. So critics contend that many dress code rules are overly detailed, prescriptive, and sometimes arbitrary. Exact styles of hair, specific belts, how tight pants are, these can feel invasive, and they are policing what should be personal or cultural expression. The ban on edges is often raised as an example of such regulation. When does grooming become a violation? Many see style, especially style of hair, as personal, cultural, and identity related, not simply aesthetics. So some parents have argued that, listen to me, at the child's style, that's how they wear their hair, that's their, that's how they identify themselves. And I don't know. What do you think about that one? I mean, if you're putting that much emphasis on just a design or style of how you do your hair, I don't know. So your hairstyle can't change? I don't know. I don't know. And we're not talking about like if you're Rastafarian and you're gonna have locks, because even then locks, you have different styles of locks. But I'm just saying, like, imagine having to only choose one style for your hair, and it's the one that has, according to them, they call the edges curtains. Wow. Anyway, people, that's one of the strong points coming in the fight against these dress codes. Number 2, we're going to look at, they say that the dress codes are disproportionate and they do not really affect everyone across the board. So they say some of these rules are disproportionately affecting certain groups. Girls, most likely, students with particular hair types or cultural grooming norms, students from poorer families who may struggle to meet expensive grooming or uniform expectations. For instance, students who use hair dye or styles considered fashionable but not neat by the school. Authorities might be targeted even when those styles are culturally common. No, I mean, I'm not so well informed on the various styles of girl hairstyles, but I would think, based on previous, observation in the schools, back in even my school days, pretty much girls had a good handle of the hairstyles. I didn't really think hairstyle was a big thing to fight against back then. They had cane row, they had plaits, they had whether it's the twist, rope twist, what kind of twist, all these different styles. So they had several options. You have the girls that just catch up the hair in one, you have the bang, you have the so they had several options without the need to switch up the color, or I think the line is drawn for the edges where it gets out of hand. 7 different waves hanging off the forehead, they're calling them curtains. These things is usually allow certain things until it gets out of hand, and I think we're at a place where it has been affecting the students, but parents are arguing that that's their style. You can't be stifling their style. But we continue after the break. We've looked at so far common dress code requirements for several of our schools in and around the Kingston and St. Andrew and across the island as well. We looked at 10 of the common dress code requirements. We also looked at points which support the strictness of the dress codes to say that yes, they are strict. We need them to be strict. They're not overly strict. They're just right to maintain order and discipline. And so far, we have also looked into a couple points as parents are saying, listen to me, this is an overreach. They don't need it to be this strict. They're students. They should be allowed the chance to express themselves. Well, we're going to look into more of this after the break, so don't go anywhere. Funtastic Friday continues.